Hey, Jeffrey Pepper Rogers here with a lesson for acoustic guitar, and you probably recognized what I was just playing as based on a little piece of the guitar part from Neil Young's Old Man. And it's got a really stark kind of haunting sound on the guitar. And really the key ingredient there is this chord, which is a D minor 9. And the cool thing about this chord is this sound of these two notes, two strings next to each other sounding a half step apart. So I've got an F on the second string, an E on the first string, and they kind of rub against each other in that chord. And there's a lot of tension, a lot of emotion in that sound. So this is just one example of a kind of chord that's often referred to as a cluster chord, where you have notes that are close to each other, half step apart, whole step apart in the chord, and create that kind of little bit of rub, a little bit of tension like you heard in that D minor 9. And that's the focus of this lesson. Cluster chords that we'll cover here may have complicated names like minor add 9, add 11, minor flat 6, but you don't have to be a jazz player to reach them. In fact, you can take advantage of open strings to add these kinds of close intervals, often with really easy fingerings like that Neil Young example. And you can create really complex, surprising harmonies that sound particularly great on the acoustic guitar. What I'm going to do in this lesson is build a vocabulary of cluster chords by adding notes to basic major, minor, and seventh chords, mostly working low on the neck. And along the way, we'll check out some additional examples based on classic songs by James Taylor, Bob Dylan, Janis Ian, Dave Matthews, and more, where the cluster chords are a central part of the sound. So first, let's look at a group of cluster chords that add the 9, also might be known as the 2, depending on how the notes are stacked in the chord, but adds the 9 to major, minor, or seventh chords. So here is a set of these add 9 chords. C add 9. A add 9. Another A add 9. G add 9. I'm muting the 5th string on that one. Here's an E add 9. This is another way to play A add 9. It's actually the bar version or closed version of that E add 9, and this is a tough one to reach. But it's a good one to know. You can always use just part of the voicing, 2 strings, 3 strings of it. So that's another way to play A add 9. Here's a D add 9. So in all these chords, the 9th is 1 step below the 3rd. So to take the example of C add 9, there's the 9th is the D note on the 2nd string, and there's the 3rd, the E on the 1st string, and they're a whole step apart. The cluster in these add 9 chords has a soft sound. You can substitute an add 9 for a regular major chord for a noticeable but gentle change in the harmony. So there's a similar set of chords that includes the 9th or the 2nd, but omits the 3rd. So you've got a 3-note chord with the root, the 2nd or 9th, and the 5th. Typically these are known as Sus2 chords. And here you've got a close interval between the root and the second. So here are just a couple of common Sus2 voicings. First, this is a D sus2, just like a regular D shape, but leaving that first string open. And an A sus2, again like a regular A chord, but leaving the second string open this time. And this is an F sus2, just on the bottom 4 strings. When you add a ninth to a minor chord, the cluster is tighter. So there's just a half step between the ninth and the minor third, as you'll hear in these minor Ad9 voicings. This is A minor Ad9, with that half step between the third string and the second string. Another way to play A minor Ad9. Here's an E minor Ad9. And this is the closed position way to play that same shape. Again, this is a stretch, so this is a version of an A minor Ad9. I'm barring the sixth string and the third string at the 5th fret. I could play the top strings too, but I'm just focusing on the bottom 4 strings. This is a D minor Ad9 on the top 4 strings. That's a voicing that lacks the 5th, so you only have the root, which is D, the ninth, which is E, and the minor third, which is F. This next set of shapes extends the harmony by adding the ninth to a minor 7th chord, and these chords are just known as minor 9. Here the 9 designation implies the presence of the flatted 7th. This is A minor 9, D minor 9, shape used in Old Man, and E minor 9. Now I'm skipping over the 5th string. And that E minor 9 is a go-to James Taylor shape, as featured, for instance, in the intro to Something in the Way She Moves. He's capoed up, but I'll just play it here in open position. And here again is that Old Man riff. 1, 2, 3, 4. The next example is based on Every Breath You Take by the Police, which is really a showcase for Ad9 chords. The original uses A shapes that require some wide stretches. So this version of the progression I'm going to show is in the friendlier key of G. And every chord is dressed up with a ninth or a second. It's an essential part of the mood and sound of that song. So I'm going to play this one with a flat pick, and you can use a little bit of palm muting to get a bit of that percussive feel of the original. 1, 2, 3, 4.